Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mental Health Moments. We're glad that you are here, and tonight we are hopeful that you are ready for something that is real, transparent, and unscripted. We won't be that long tonight, so you might want to stay tuned. Don't change the channel. We will be right back. Welcome back. And as we are producing this, December is rushing by us, and as we are producing this, you have 7 days from today until Christmas. You might want to go back and review some of the videos that we've done on stress. I hope that it is not a stressful time for you. I hope that you're doing everything you can to eliminate stress. And as a matter of fact, the project that we're giving you tonight is loosely connected to all of that. We want to focus on something that we're all aware of and we can become a victim to from time to time. And the subject for us this time is, listen to this, validation. Validation. I could talk about the power of validation. I could talk about the hindrance of validation, but I want to go in a different direction. I don't need to explain it all that much because I think that we all seem to understand it. But if you need a definition, here it is. By definition, validation is the act of affirming a person or their ideas, feelings, actions, etc. as acceptable and worthy. I want to say that again, the act of affirming a person or their ideas, feelings, actions, etc. as acceptable or worthy. Validation is everywhere, and what we are most familiar with is our efforts to be validated. We want to do something to be validated in our life, which is unfortunately far too many times done in all the wrong ways for all of the wrong reasons, and many times with the wrong outcome. Many times it's done to overcome our feelings of insecurities and our inadequacies. And what I often see is that people do things that they don't need to do. At times they don't need to do them, in ways they don't need to do them, just for the purpose of receiving someone else's validation on their life or their efforts, thinking that the moment that they have that validation, it's going to somehow make it all worth it, add to their value, and it's going to make them feel like a better person, when, as a matter of fact, it does not. One of my favorite thinkers, Paul Coelho, once said, "What makes people weak? The need for validation and recognition, their need to feel important." His final thought on that, don't get caught in that trap, and that is exactly what it is. Shannon Alder said, "Dignity will only happen when you realize that having someone in your life does not validate your worth." You might want to write that down. Dignity will only happen when you realize that having someone in your life does not validate your worth. Now, I want to try to make sure that we understand this, that as we go through our lives, there are some things that definitely need to be validated. And parents, you might want to listen to this very closely, and as you are dealing with children, or if you are an employer dealing with employees, however that translates in your life, listen, some things definitely need to be validated. Feelings, as much as we like to avoid them, sometimes feelings need to be validated. Sometimes they don't, but sometimes they do. A person's viewpoint, a person's feeling that you have actually heard what they are saying needs to be validated. Their rights. I'm a strong believer that rights need to be validated. It's more true than you know, and many times if a parent doesn't do that, it can leave that child thinking that what they are doing is not enough or not good enough, and it can open up a whole discussion about what they need to do to be validated, and it can send them down the trail for the rest of their life of trying to do things that they really shouldn't be doing in order to be validated. Parents, be sure that you understand that. I spoke with one grown adult this week who has children of her own now, and that feeling that needed to be validated was never satisfied by her mother, who always insisted that she just be happy all the time. And sometimes we're not happy. Sometimes we are discouraged, depressed, and defeated, and we just need to have the ability to be able to have some empathy and recognize that. So this is true as well. You should never connect your own feelings of self-worth to someone else's opinion of you. You should never connect your feelings of self-worth on the opinion that someone else has of you, and unfortunately, too many people, it takes a lifetime for them to understand that, and I could probably say I'm probably one of those people. It took me a lifetime to figure that out. I believe that we will all at some point or another know that pressure, the pressure of wanting to be included. the pressure of wanting to be accepted and validated and recognized and important. But if you lose yourself in that pursuit, the results are always going to be bad. If you lose yourself along the way, I may have lost somebody already, because validation is a very big thing. Somewhere along the way, someone taught me this, and I've never forgotten it. You've got to learn how to believe in yourself even when no one else will. You have got to learn how to believe in yourself even when no one else will. And that is so true, because there will be some times in your life when people just don't believe that what you are leaning into is worth it. Sometimes they don't believe in you, and what you don't want to do is go through your life trying to be a chameleon. What you don't want to do is go through your life trying to chameleonize yourself every day, constantly changing this or that about yourself just so that someone else will accept you. And I'll just let that hang in the air because it's so important. We used to say that this is only a problem among young people or among children, specifically teenagers, but that's not true anymore. This struggle for validation is everywhere. It is on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of those things. People feel validated by followers. If you get a new follower on your TikTok or your Instagram, I got a new follower, or fans. If I have another fan or more likes, the more little red lights that I get excited about, or reviews. If you produce a YouTube video like we do, sometimes you can fall into the trap of validating yourself or the worth of yourself based entirely on that. And this is a fact. None of that means much at the end of the day. At the end of the day, have you been you? Have you been you? Have you been honest? Have you been true to yourself? Do you have virtue? Do you have courage? Do you have morals? Do you have integrity? It takes bravery. I think it truly does in this culture. It takes bravery to be yourself, and let that be good enough. That is why so many people don't do it. It takes great bravery to be yourself. That's why a lot of people don't do it. I read a quote that made me stop and think about it. I'm going to give it to you, and then we're going to wrap it up for tonight. If you were always a nice guy, you may be living someone else's life. Isn't that something? If you're always a nice guy, you may be living someone else's life. Now, the truth also is that you don't want to go through all of your life being a jerk, but neither is it okay to not be yourself and always be something that you're not, just so that someone else somewhere will validate you and say, good job. So how about you? Any thoughts? I hope that this has been helpful for you. I hope that it has stirred some thinking. I'll probably drop some links in sometime later this week to help you think about it a little bit more. But what are your thoughts? Do you have any? Would you like to put them in the comments? We would love to hear what you have to say. I always do. Sometimes people private message me. We will also include my email address out there so that you can send an email privately if you'd like to. If you have any thoughts that have worked for you on validation, are you happy with yourself? Go ahead, lift up your hand and say, yes, I am. I mean, you can even put it in the comments, yes, I am. And in the meantime, watch this with your children, because they are struggling every day for validation. And sometimes they go looking for that in all the wrong places. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If you're not, please press that button. I don't ask much, but if you would do that, I would appreciate it. It would validate it would not validate me, but it would help us to reach more people. If you'd like to share this, you think it's helpful, press that share button and send it along, and we hope that this has been helpful to you. Be prepared. Next week is Christmas. I hope you're ready. We look forward to seeing you next time right here on Mental Health Moments.